Welcome to part 3 of our score dress-up tutorial. In this one, I'm going to be talking about how to add text labels into our score, but I'm also going to take the opportunity to show you how to find resources on your own. So we're going to just do this completely soup to nuts. Let's pretend I don't know anything about how to put text into my sketch. So one way of accessing information or finding this out is really to go to the help system. Maybe the easiest way to do that is just to double click anything or highlight any sort of word here, any of the blue words, and go find in reference. So that's going to bring me up to a thing. If I click on the language, then it brings me up to a menu of all the different functions, methods, etc. within the processing environment. And I'm going to go ahead and find topography. Well, there, that sounds like it's interesting. So if I just go ahead and hit PF font, it brings me to a help file there about font. And it maybe gives me some related instances, and it gives me some example text there. So it's going to show me how to load a font, and it gives me this note: the font must be located in the Sketches data directory to load successfully. And then it shows me that I have this text font method there, and then I have a text method. So it looks like here's pretty much everything I need. PF font. All right. So let me go ahead and copy that. And I'm just going to paste that right up into my text, into my sketch. And then I'm going to parse this for you. Okay, so PF font basically is another variable type, as you see, as it integers or colors. It's a specialized one in processing to deal with fonts. All right, and then it says PF font, and that's just declaring the variable. Now this is defining the variable here. So we can do that up here, or the more common area to do that would be in setup. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that and put that into setup. Okay, so you've defined the variable font. Now we're going to load a font. So font equals, and then it'll load sort of this font file. Processing is nice because it actually stores the fonts with the sketch. So even if you export it to another computer that doesn't happen to have the font you're using loaded, it should still use that font because it should be loaded with your sketch. But in order to do that, we have to package the font or create it for processing. And in the tools menu, we've been given a nice little utility to do that, create font. Okay, and then it has all my sort of system fonts there, and I can create a font that's going to be kept with my sketch. So I'm going to use Monaco. I like to use Monaco a lot as a sort of a standard generic font. And let's go ahead and make this, how about 24? Okay, and oops, sorry. Here we're going to put it 24, and it'll give the file name Monaco 24. I'm going to copy that because I know I'm going to need to use that. Okay, and then hit OK. Now it'll automatically set that font into my sketch. So my sketch is, I think, in here and here. Okay, score dress up, and then in the data folder. So now you have this monaco24.vlw. All right, now let's see, where was I? Right, so and I copied that. So basically we're having this font load font, and we have this name, so that's where I'm going to copy that, paste that in there, the Monaco font, okay, which is now in my sketch. And the last part of this is using the last part of what we copied from the help file here, text font 32, and word 1050 here. We're going to use actually in my draw. Okay, so actually, maybe we'll give it a better name here. We'll call this, in fact, we'll just call it Monaco 24. And remember, just like integers or strings or anything else, your name could be anything. But you do have to be consistent throughout. So then we'll have to change that there. And we'll have to change that here. Okay, so Monaco 24 now loads that. It's defined as Monaco 24. And we're going to declare the font to use. So if I want to use throughout, I can simply do it in setup, if that's going to be the font I use. Or I can actually do it in the draw. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that then. I'll put a label. And then finally, we put our actual text. So it might be worth drawing the text on top of everything. And let's do a test here. All right, so this gave me these arguments test, which just seems to be the string, the actual thing I want to print out, and then these numbers here. So if pretend I'm unfamiliar with what they might be, I'm going to highlight the text function and go into reference and look it up. And it tells me that these are the different possibilities. So C is the alphanumeric character to be displayed, and X is the X coordinate, and the Y is the Y coordinate. Okay, so that's easy enough. So that's basically the location. So it's going to be X10, Y50. So let's have a look at that. And there you go, test. Okay, and you'll notice it's in yellow. Now, why might that be? Well, because the last fill that I had is yellow. So the text responds to your fill command as well. And that's, again, I think I had said in the last tutorial, it's good to be explicit per item or per unit of drawing that you have. So we're going to want to have its own fill. And we'll just make it black for now. Okay. So, for example, if I wanted to something to maybe correspond with my my dynamic areas, for example, maybe we can do one every 500. So 0, we'll have one that says PP, something like that, and we'll have it at, we'll give it a little bit of space, so maybe at 5, and then 50, that's good. And then maybe have another one that says MF, and maybe have that at 500, and F at 1000, etc., etc. Okay. If I run that, now you'll see each thing is labeled. Now, of course, you can label the pitches if you want. You can label the dynamic areas. Do whatever you want. But this is the basics of using text labels within your score, actually within any processing sketch.